So let's, I hope you had a good weekend. Has everyone revised the last 2 days contents? That is collection framework regarding hashing algorithm, sets implementation, and additional things. Okay, great to know. Has anyone attempted this assignment? Today I will get it solved in the lab session as always, but in case you have tried, very good. Good to know. Done also, very good, Ankit. So I'm very happy to see that you are coping up with the assignments, and whoever has not completed it, in the today's lab session, we are going to discuss and get it done in case you require the help. Okay, so let me open our today's sequence and you'll know what is the plan of today. So today's topics are, first we will revise your hashing algorithm. So it is and you will see it is so same for HashSet, and today we are going to do the hash map naturally. Then I want to show you modern Java API, or Java 8 onwards is called as a modern Java API. So Java 8 new features uh, regarding date and time related functionalities. And we are not going to hereafter use the older APIs such as java.util.date, calendar, Gregorian calendar were part of all these old APIs. We'll replace it by something called as local date, local time, local date time. So when I come there, you'll know that. And then we are going to enter and spend the remaining time in maths. So I'll give you maths overview. If you have understood sets, shifting from set to map does not take you much of a time. So one of the implement map will be of course interface, and we'll discuss the implementation classes. And after that, I plan to start you with some important additional Java new features, such as there is a default keyword they have introduced. There are static methods available in interfaces, and most importantly, Lambda expression to start your functional programming. So that is the to-do list of today. Let us start with the revision. Guys, I can see only 181 participants, as I have 182 now. As I have insisted always, I know that today I joined late, but generally, try to join before I start the session. Otherwise, what happens is you guys miss the revision and then you feel disconnected, lost and confused. So just stick to the proper time. Okay, so start with the revision. First question is, any topic we start with, why? So why hashing? Why hashing is considered as a very important technique. It is to make the things. When I say make the things, what I mean by is the CRUD operations: create, retrieve, update, delete, and even searching. So to make the things such as CRUD operations and searching operations more efficient by effectively narrowing down the search. So let me ask you an example. Let me ask you a question, because that will tell me uh, how well you have understood. Compare array list versus hash set. Okay, you know array list, you know hash set. So suppose the size of the array list is 1,000, or you can say 1K. 1,000 is good enough, simple. So if you want to search for a particular element, what is the time complexity? What is that O factor in a worst case scenario? Order of n, which is what? Order of 1,000. Is everyone getting it? And now tell me, if you have to search the element in a hash set, will it be O of n or will it be O of 1? That is what is going to, offer you constant time performance. Are you understanding? So this is what is, okay, why this happens? Because is the data in a hashing based table, is it arranged linearly? Absolutely not. It is arranged in a bucket based structure. So anytime you want to search for the element, or if you want to add the element or remove the element, first JVM will call which method? Hash code or equals? Hash code method will be called. From hash code, who has to supply the hash code? P for programmer, J for JVM. Still I'm getting a wrong answer. Guys, those who are giving me the answer at JVM are completely wrong. Here, haven't we overridden the hash code function? So that hash code function I'm saying. And then on the top of that, in addition to that, there is an internal hash function, which as I promised you, I'll show you today. And then so it is a combination of two hash functions. So hash code method supplied by programmer or JVM. Asking a question, programmer. And that internal hash function, who has supplied it? JVM. And what is the job of that internal or additional hash function? To ensure that whatever is the hash code is falling between 0 to capacity -1. Okay, so that is that internal hash. And as a simplification, you can think of it as a modulo operation. But you will see when I show you the internal code, you will see it is nothing but the ANDing of bits and shifting and all that. So in short, it is a hash function to ensure that the bucket ID falls within the capacity factor. Okay, and so you have identified a bucket. So now, will JVM have to search for the element in all the buckets or only a specific bucket? Of course, a specific bucket. And if you have really written the hash code function in a proper manner means by honoring both the sides of the contract, mandatory and optional, there are lesser chances of hash collisions. Exactly. So no equals method will have to be called. Just with one method hash code, you can find the element and return it to the caller. So this is what I meant by effectively narrowing down the search to a particular bucket, whose bucket ID will be derived by your combination of hash functions, hash code method overridden by programmer, and the internal hash function to trim to ensure that the bucket ID falls between 0 to capacity -1, that is supplied by the JVM. So that is what is the opening statement. So if people ask you what is hashing, hashing is nothing but some function, or you can say hashing algorithm, to map variable size data. See, object set can be variable size, to map the object data, or you can say variable size data, to some representative integer value. So this hash code is, you know the method, public int hash code, which is already defined by the object class. So now read this slowly and carefully. This hash code, or you can say hash, is going to be used as a way to narrow down our search when looking up for the item in a hashing based data structure. And out of this, which are the two we have already looked at is HashSet and its subclass LinkedHashSet. Today I will take you to HashMap, LinkedHashMap. Hash table is not, we'll compare HashMap versus hash table later. So now your question time, the quick question start. The question being asked is, if you want to add the elements, everyone knows when I say element, is the actual object added in the collection, or is it only the references? Collection is what? Collection of objects or collection of references? You know the answer. It is collection of references. Actual objects are sitting elsewhere in the heap. Okay. So if you want to add the element, means the reference of the element in a hash table, which is hashing based data structure. There are two questions I'm asking you, actually three questions. The contract has to be followed between two methods. So can you tell me, which are these two methods? Everyone knows the answer. Between equals and hash code. Sorry. Okay. So I have not written this, but I'm asking you, where will you see these methods defined? Where are these methods coming from? Are these your own methods or are they coming from some class? They are inherited from some class, object class. What is the method declaration of equals method? Give me the answer. You can write in short forms. Equals method ka declaration. Public boolean equals. You forgot the argument, object O. Very right. What is that of a hash code method, please? Boolean, Himanshu, Booleans, Kunal, Boolean B is lowercase. If you write Boolean ka B uppercase, it means the wrapper class. You are wrong there. Okay, so correct yourself. Anyway, so what is that for a hash code? Please tell me for hash code, public and hash code. Very right. So that is your object classes method. Now tell me, if you say object classes equals method, what will object classes equals method return? Or let me rephrase the question. When will object classes equals method return true? Reference equality or content equality? Answer is reference equality. Second question people ask you, what will your object classes hash code method return? I know it will return integer, so don't tell me integer. What is that int value? No. Yes, address. I want correct answer is address. Address of the object. So that is some internal address representation, which could be, simply the offset from the beginning of the heap. So we don't care. Some address will be returned. But here, the rule is, if you don't override these methods as per the contract, will your hash table, as in hash set, will it detect the duplicates or will it add the duplicate elements if you don't override a single method? It will add the duplicates. It cannot detect the duplicates. So now I have the next question for you. What is the, everyone knows, I've given you that flowchart. What is the mandatory part of the contract? What is the part of the contract which you have to, exactly, Piyush is very right. Equal objects must have the same hash code. So guys, this you have to remember all your Java life. And trust me, no core Java interview generally will be over unless until they dig you about equals and hash code. So equal objects, isn't it simple? Very easy to remember. Equal objects must produce. There's a must there. There's a compulsory part, mandatory part. Equal objects must produce same hash code. So tell me, if you don't override anything, this contract will not be followed. Okay, so if you just override the equals method, is it sufficient? Absolutely no. Your equals method might be returning true, but the moment you say new, object is occupied at a different address, hash code will be wrong. I mean, hash code will be different. That is why it was not working. The moment equal objects must produce the same hash code is followed, your 100%, your hash table will start detecting the duplicates. Detecting the duplicates means what? Sometimes my English is a problem. Means if you try to add a duplicate element, will hash table add the duplicate or will it reject the duplicate? Add or reject? Answer is it will reject the duplicate. All good. But now let me ask you, if you just follow the mandatory part of the contract, 100% duplicates will be rejected. Detected means rejected. But will you get O1 factor or order of n factor? Order of n factor. And why it is so? Because you might have, if you're not followed the optional branch, unequal objects producing unequal hash code, you will have more and more number of hash collisions. You remember I had shown you very slowly. We spent entire of Saturday in this. So we had returned the same value of hash code, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. So from the same hash code, every time JVM was deriving the same bucket ID. And that bucket ID is nothing but a pointer. It holds the pointer to the head node in a singly linked list. So in short, again, you are going for linear searching performance. So you will definitely have a problem. Problem in the sense your performance will degrade over a time. So it is very much recommended to follow optional but recommended part of the contract. Anyone wants to tell me what is that second part of the contract? To ensure constant time performance. Optional but recommended part of the, you can type it, of the contract, to ensure O1. Yes, please. Very right, guys. So here, unequal objects. What is the meaning of unequal objects? Equals method returning false is unequal. What is equal object? Equals method returning true. That's simple. So unequal objects, it's not must, but it is should. Better. Unequal objects should produce same hash code or distinct hash code. Answer is distinct hash code. Okay. And this will definitely ensure a better separation, uniform distribution, reducing the number of hash collisions, giving you better timing complexity or better performance. So this is what is about the contract. Okay, so mandatory part, of course, is mandatory, required, but this is optional, but 100% recommended. And you will see that all your Java classes, pick up any Java class which has overridden what? Equals has also overridden matching hash code method to follow both the parts of the contract. So anytime I give you, not I, anyone gives you any assignment and you want to add the elements into a hashing based data structure, such as HashMap HashSet, you have to remember this rule. Now, so this is the contract. But there is how part. How will you achieve this? How will you achieve both the sides of the contract? Extremely easy. So what is the first step? Ask yourself, what is the primary key? Can it be simple primary key as well as composite primary key? Will it work for both types? Answer is yes, both. It can be I had purposefully given you as the assignment composite primary key example, requirement. So it can be either, we don't care. It could be single field. It could be 10 fields long. How do I care? So identify the primary key and override the equals. That's the first step. And now you use the same fields, that is same primary key members in generating the hash code. And if you want to further achieve the better separation, what should you use in your formula? Composite number or a prime number? Answer is prime numbers are recommended. Again, all of this has been statistically proved that if you use some prime number in generating the hash code, you end up getting a better separation. So now read the second statement very carefully. The string class, your string builder, string buffer also, string builder is wrong, but string class, all the wrapper classes, the date class, today you'll be learning local date, local time. They have already followed the contract, including both of the branches. Okay, so this is what is we have already seen, we have already done. So now you have the diagram. Why don't we, quickly revise that hashing algorithm and we'll go ahead with today's topics. So day 15 help diagrams, we had drawn this together. So I hope you'll understand. So here you have the diagram. So I'll just ask you line by line, what will happen? So start answering, please. Okay, what I'll do is I'll open this in a pen or something. Just a second, okay? Yeah. So now questions start. So here, when this particular line, the first line, hash set, you are creating a hash set object. How many objects will be created in the heap? Start answering fast. How many objects? One object. What will be the type of that object? EMP, no, wrong answer. Wrong answer. Hash set. Absolutely correct. No employee. Employee has not been created, guys. I have just created a hash set object. But hash set object, no. Employee type of references, but employee doesn't come in, Kunal. So you are little early in answering. Only hash set object. But what is the structure? When you say hash set, what is it? Is it an array, array list? What it is? What is the backing data structure? Yeah, but hash table is, no, you're not understanding. Of course, it is a hash table, but what is the actual structure created? Pushkaraj got it right finally. Array of references. Have you not revised? When you say a hash set object is created, simply array of references is created in the memory, which is called as hash table. Okay. How many slots will be there in what will be the length of that array if you use the default constructor? 16. Okay, so there are three factors associated with the hash set: size, capacity, and a load factor. You have the answers. What will be the size? If I use the default constructor, 0. What capacity? And what load factor? 75%, meaning 0.75. So when you say 16 ka capacity, that means the array has the array has been created with the 16 slots. And since it is array of references, what are the values initialized to? Null or not null? Answer is all nulls. So don't tell me that employee class or employee object, all wrong answers. Only array of references created in the first run. That's it. Now solve the next one. So here, see my cursor. Here that employee object is created. It is sitting separately in the heap. And when you say hs.add, now you start telling me. So let us call this as E1, E2, E3, E4, so that you can answer my questions. So when you say hs.add, which method your JVM will call internally? E1.hashcode. No, I want it as reference.method. Don't just say HS. HS doesn't mean anything to me. I want a full answer. E1.hashcode. So this hashcode method you have overridden as per the contract. Then further it will call internal hash function, and from that it will derive bucket ID. So tell me, after JVM understands, identifies the bucket ID, what will it check? What will it check for? It has found out the bucket ID. Is it empty or not empty? Empty means null, non-empty means not null. So if it is the first element you are inserting, will it be empty or non-empty? Empty. So in that case, is there a hash collision or no hash collision? No hash collision. So does JVM have to call any equals method to add the element, or will it directly add the element? Answer is no need to call that. So it will directly add the element. And when you say element, this is where the node is created. I'm going to show you all these inners little later. So what is that structure? So here, these buckets are nothing but called as, they are initialized to null. And when you start adding the elements, then it will contain, a node will be created. It is a list of chain of nodes. Is it going to maintain a singly linked list internally or doubly linked list? It is a singly linked list. So it will create, the node will have the hash value, the reference, and the pointer to the next node, which is currently null because it's the first element you are adding. So this node is created elsewhere, and the pointer, the address of this node is stored in the bucket, and the method returns. So tell me, if the element is added, what will add method return? True or false? 100% answer is true. Everyone gets me? Okay, solve the next one. So here, now you are having hs.add. So call this as E2. So tell me, what is the first method it will call? Everyone knows the answer. E2.hashcode. From E2.hashcode, it will call the internal hash function, find out the bucket ID. Now you take the probability. There are two cases, empty or non-empty. So suppose it is empty, same story repeats. But suppose it comes across non-empty bucket. Tell me, suppose if you have less chances, but suppose it comes to that, what will be the next method it will have to call? Equals. So this is the condition, which is what? Is a hash collision. The element having the same hash value. Equals. So now tell me, if the, okay, let's talk in code. E1 dot equals E2. Okay. Now, if the equals method returns true, what does it mean? Duplicate or new element? It's a duplicate element. So will JVM add the duplicate or will it not add the duplicate? It won't add the duplicate. And what will add method return? True or false? Add method will return false. Are we clear? So this is the way your hashing algorithm will get called. But over the time, when your elements, when your hash table starts getting more and more full, there are chances for degrading the performance. Because suppose this is the picture. Okay, suppose this is the picture, and suppose E4 element has to be added, and suppose the bucket ID is 4. How many times it will have to call equals? In this case, how many times? 3 times. Absolutely clear. And so the performance will start degrading. So what is the concept of a, okay, so there is a what do you say? There is a help of a load factor. So what is the default value of a load factor? 0.75. So what is the meaning? When the hash table is 75% full, JVM knows that it will start degrading from that constant time performance. So what it will do, there's a process called as rehashing. Yes, exactly. Rehashing takes place. Means what? When the product of capacity into load factor, sorry, I should say the other ways. When the size means number of elements in the hash table. Size doesn't mean the size of one linked list. Here there can be other elements. Here there can be another linked list, whatever. Yes. So the total size not equal to, if it is greater than, if it exceeds any time capacity into load factor, rehashing takes place. So JVM will create a new array, a new hash table. What will be the capacity of this new hash table? Double the original capacity. Very right. It is close to the power of 2. Double the original capacity. And then why it is called as rehashing? Because it will again call, JVM will call the entire hashing algorithm, and it will take those elements which were, tied to, bundled together in the same bucket. When the number of buckets increase, of course, there will be the lesser hash collisions, same number of hash collisions or greater hash collisions, lesser number of hash collisions, leaning towards constant time performance. So this is what you have seen, or rather we have seen on the on Saturday. And you have also observed it. I have given you so many cases, observations. I have given you in that assignment what all. So you have to look at the code. You have to look at the memory picture and the observations to understand it inside out. So has everyone done the revision of hashing algorithm? And are we suitably clear? More than 70% clarity I want. Maybe something could be missing, but that you will understand with HashMap also. Okay, so this is what was revision. Now let us start with the today's topics. So here, I'm starting with a Java 8 new features. The first new feature I want to show you is the improvements done in a date time related APIs. So I want to ask you a question. There is already a question. What were the limitations? Which is the class which you have used before, till now for date time handling? Anyone wants to tell me which is the class we have used for java.util.date? And so I'll start asking you the questions. Is there any undeprecated constructor in the date class which can directly convert from string to date? No. You did not understand my question. I said, is there any, hear my question, hear my English. There is no such constructor. The constructor is all deprecated. So what is the first problem with the date time? Earlier thing is, it had a limited API. So what is it we had to add? Now you can answer. We had to add a simple date formatter, simple date format. We had to create the instance of it. And which was the method for converting from string to date? Parse. What was the opposite method for conversion from date to string? Format. So there was an additional API involved. That is a limitation one. Now, if you read the documentation of java.util.date, what it consisted of? Date, time, both or neither. I said date contained exactly both. You remember if you say date d1 equal to new date, current date, you could see date and time. We did not have the separation. Another limitation was, these are all the disadvantages. Was this date class inherently thread safe or thread unsafe? It was thread unsafe. Okay, so this thread class, I'm so sorry, this date class I meant is a inherently thread unsafe class. And something else. Yeah, let me ask you a question. Suppose you have got a simple date formatter with day, month, and year, DD, MM, YY. Okay, and suppose you gave the day, user, you are accepting it from user. Suppose user gives the month value as 20. Everyone knows the range of month is between 1 and 12. But if you give the value as 20, was it giving an exception or was it self-adjusting or rolling over the date? There was no exception. And for the end user, it is so weird, so confusing. So because of all these limitations, finally Java 8 guys, Java 8 community, Java 8 developers, Java 8 Java edition developers thought of adding a new package. So focus here. So Java add new features. First feature I'm introducing is there was a new package introduced, java.time. And there are multiple classes which you'll see, but if on single day, if I show you too many things, you feel confused. So over days, I'll show you. So the java.time has three important classes. One is LocalDate, one is LocalTime, and one is LocalDate and time. So why don't you open? Please open along with me. I hope everyone is logged in with your computers and your Java docs are already open. So I'll just open Java 11 docs API, and let me open this. You can search for, today we are going to spend maximum time on LocalDate. Okay, so look for LocalDate, please. You can see the package is java.time and the name of the class is LocalDate. Now apply your common sense and tell me what it must be holding. Date, time, timestamp, as in both or neither. This must be holder of what? Only date. Absolutely correct. And that too without a time zone. See, earlier date class was with a time zone. So they have removed that complication also. There is a different zone classes and all, but here this is without any time zone. And what is the format it uses by default is year, month, and day. Guys, now you have done HTML. So can anyone tell me? HTML5 I'm talking about. So it has input type date. What is that format? Same format. Year, month, and day. Absolutely correct. You have done MySQL database. What is the, you have the type of the column as date. It is the same. So it is all consistent. Are you understanding me? See, when you have more and more exposure, you start understanding things easily. Earlier, it used to be so tough. Anyway, so this is your year, month, and day. It is a immutable date. Actually, immutable means what? Modifiable or not modifiable? It is not modifiable. And anything which is read only. Once you create a local date object, can you make the changes to that? Absolutely not. Okay. And that is what brings the thread safety. In short, when you compare date versus local date is inherently thread unsafe. Local date is inherently thread safe. So one advantage already. And here, of course, you can change. There are other things. This class does not store represent time or a time zone. You have different classes for that. Okay, so now I'll give you the API and we'll check it. And we'll write a small test. Be ready. Open your Eclipse STS and keep it ready. Those who don't want to do the parallel coding, from today onwards, you have a separate lab session. So you can do it there. But if you type along with me, you get 2 revisions. You get it twice, once with me and then later in the lab. But choice is absolutely yours. So coming back now. So here I'm saying it is the immutable date and the format it represents is year, month, and day. It is an inherently thread safe class. It is immutable, so inherently thread safe. Now read this API and we will use it. So which is the method? Okay, you must have read this. But better part is always, why don't you look up from here? So here you can say now. So here, all the local date will have all the static methods. Most of the methods are, some of the methods are non-static, but this is the static method I'm showing. So how do you call static method? Class name dot member name. If you don't want to use class name, use import static. So now, if you read this, obtains the current date from the system clock with the default time zone. There is no time zone information stored. So let us discuss the API, use it immediately and go further. So everyone understood the now method? It returns you the system date without time and without the time zone information. Clear or not clear? Clear? Okay. So now we will write it, but in a minute. So now look for toString method. So tell me, has local date class overridden the toString? Yes. So are you going to see the hash code value or are you going to see the formatted date? Hash code or formatted date? A formatted date. Tell me, if that formatted date is already of this format, year, month, and day, do you require a separate class as a simple date formatter to format it, or local date is sufficient? You don't require. Guys, I'm going to reduce your code. I'm not going to increase your code. Okay, so let's do it in a immediate manner. Open your Eclipse. And let's start creating. Today is what, day 16, right? So you create to open a project, day 16.1, something like class or theory. I'll join you in a minute. So let me close all this, Control Shift W. Let's create a new Java project. Please give the different names so that later you can import my stuff and compare if required. Yeah, that is why, Abhijit. Now you know this. STS takes too much time. So you should be prepared. Before I say open STS, you should be all ready and keep the STS open. That is the suggestion I will always give you. Now you know. So learn from that experience always. Don't waste time. And another thing I'm suggesting is here you close the projects which are no longer required so that it will be little faster. So see, I'm just clicking on that control key and I'm closing all the earlier projects. You also do the same thing. Day 15, let it be. Earlier, I don't require. And see, we are not deleting. We are just closing the project. So your STS will open little faster. Right click on it and you'll find it as close projects. You can double click on it and open it anytime. And you don't require that server projects also. So you can close everything other than day 16.1. And that will give you little, what do you say? If you have a 4 GB RAM, STS doesn't work. I mean, STS is okay. IntelliJ STS, they always, they take the similar RAM, this. So coming back to the point, let's start creating. I hope everyone's STS is open. That is what I said as a prerequisite when you log in. Keep it open so you're ready to code. So this is, I'll say, dates. Okay, I'll say Java 8. I'll give the package name as Java 8 date and time. And here, let's start our test series, test 1, test 2, and all that. So now, create current date or, okay, system date, you can say, without any time or time zone. It's a default time zone, basically. Okay, so the package to import is, your ID can do it, but for the first time you yourself do it. So you'll remember import java.time. The class we are looking at is LocalDate. You can always add import static, but import static I'll start using little later. You are too new to this. So I'll say LocalDate. D1 equal to, there is no constructor here. So you have to use the API LocalDate.now. Okay. So here you can say, so you got it. And simply, why don't you SOP it? So once you SOP it, it is going to show you, it is going to use the overriding form to string. It will be added in a year, month, and day manner. So 2-liner code only initially. And tell me, is it working? Always notice the things. It is a 4-digit year, compulsorily 2-digit month, and 2-digit day. Working for everyone? I hope I'm going sufficiently slow. Good enough? Okay, so I'm just starting in a very simple, tiny steps. So you have seen 2 methods now, and here it is calling toString. Writing in comment toString of local date, which is returns formatted date. So we have achieved this. Now let me show you the next API. You will see There are so many flexible methods. I'll show you from the Java docs. It is best. Now search for, there is a method called as off. There are overloaded methods. So look for this. I'm going to give you a small task, a 1 minute job. It is going to be like this throughout end of your advanced Java, interactive coding. So as much as possible, but if anyone is not coding parallelly, they can still answer. So use this off method. I've given you this, and give me the, I'll tell you what I want. Give me the date, local date, which encapsulates the, let's say 31st December of 2020. Give me the local date, which encapsulates 31st December 2020, year before, current, earlier one. Just giving you a minute. It's an easy one. Local date dot off, absolutely correct. Are you getting this? So here you can look for this. It obtains the year, minimum year, maximum year. You can check the values, day of month, everything is already given. And if you give any value, see the earlier point it was just rolling over, adjusting. If you give any values, wrong values, you will get a date time exception. So why don't we try that? Local date corresponding, let's say 31st December 2020, some value. So I'll say local. You can always say import static and all that. So I'm just not doing it on the first day. Let's say local date dot off, and you have year, that is, let's say 2020, month. So let's say 31st December I want, and this, and just SOP the. Very simple but powerful API is what you are finding it out. And you can check very easily. Managed, everyone? Working correctly? If you make a mistake, this is your year, month and day. Okay, make the mistake and tell me what happened. Did it roll over the date as in self-adjustment, or does it throw the exception? Exception is thrown. Are you understanding why I'm calling it? It is a better, superior API, and it tells you so clearly. What is the name of the exception, guys? Date time exception. What it must be? Is it a checked exception or unchecked exception? What it must be? Of course, unchecked. Otherwise, compiler would have shouted. It is an unchecked exception. You can check the hierarchy, and it tells you so clearly. Valid values are only 1 to 12. How can you give something else? Understanding everything? Working and understanding. This you don't give 0, 1, guys. That 0, 1 is for parsing. So here, suppose I say this. Of course, it will give me the date for whatever, 31st January. And if you say, whatever. So if I say, for example, check all this, play with the API. So you don't have to ask me questions. You can find it out yourself. For February, of course, there are no 31 days. So leap year, non-leap year, everything will be considered. It is truly the excellent API. So suppose I say 31st of March, that is fine, and print it. Understood everything so far? Yeah, Rishikesh, but have I reached here? So focus on the things which I'm talking about. Okay, so this is your off method. Now tell me, is it easy? Is it convenient for the end user to input 3 values, year, month and day, or 1 string value which contains the total year, month and day? 3 inputs or 1 input, which is better? Single string value is better. But in our earlier APIs, we had to use simple date format. We had to use sdf.parse, and that parse method was throwing parse exception, which was a checked exception. So we had to handle. Everyone understood what I said? Here, no such headache. So the local date class itself has a parse method. Okay, so now search for parse. So do I have to use what is it called? A simple date format class for parsing the date? Answer is not really. Look at the method. So what goes in is a char sequence. I hope you remember the API. Click on the char sequence. It is an interface. Interfaces cannot be instantiated, but interface reference can refer to any implementation class. So can I pass in place of char sequence a string? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? 100% yes. So isn't it cool? Isn't it easy? Only problem means limitation is, can I give it as any format or a particular format? Answer is particular format, and here that 0 prefix is required. So is there any way I can change the format? Of course, there is a class called as datetime formatter, which I'll show you in the next step. So let us use this parse method. And if you have something, if you give some invalid date, just now you saw. So I mean, if you give some invalid inputs and all, it will throw you datetime parse exception. So why don't we check it out? So here, I'll open the scanner. So since I'm opening the scanner, I hope everyone remembers try with resources. Let's have that scanner opened right here. Create a scanner object. And here I'm accepting the date from user. Enter something like join date of an employee. Only thing is you have to tell, since we are using the default format, it should be year, month, and day. Always write a self-explanatory, I mean user-friendly code. And then I'm saying local date. You can later use all import static and reduce your code. Join date. And which is the method to use directly? Local date dot parse. There are two parse methods. Part 2 means overloaded. This uses the default format, year, month, and day. In the next second, I mean, in the next this thing, I'll show you the usage of datetime formatter also. So let's use this sc.next. And then let us print. I hope you are enjoying or understanding. You enjoy things when you understand naturally. So I hope you are understanding this simple API and powerful API. And the join date is, try it out is the best thing. As I always tell programmers. And here, you can do this. I'm not attached. You can see I'm not forced to write a catch-all block because all these datetime exception, datetime parse exceptions are all the unchecked exceptions. If you want to add a catch-all block, you can always add. So now let's do this. Let's run this. You can see, first you wait for a minute. You see the things which I'm showing you. So first, let me show you in the correct format. So let us say 3rd of January, year, month, and day. So employee who joined this, all cool, all good. Now let me make the mistakes. So if I say, tell me, is it going to work or is it going to throw the exception? It's going to work. Come on. Wrong answer. I told you there is a 0 ka prefix which is required. So this is your datetime parse exception, and it will tell you that this could not be passed at index 5. Start counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And here it was expecting either a 2-digit month or a 0, 1. So this is your datetime parse exception. And if you give the invalid range, 2010, suppose I say there is no 19th month, you know that, and then you will get a datetime exception. So I'll wait here. You try out all these things with the parse method. Check whether you are getting datetime parse exception. When will you get datetime parse exception, that you check, and when you'll get datetime exception, that also you check. I'm waiting here for a minute. Do that. Should I show you the code? Okay, I'll open the code, Rohit. Here. Yes. Tell me when you are done. You have 3 things done. Very good. So first you give the correct, then you make a mistake in the range, and then you give something like non-zero one and all. Make some mistake in the parsing, and you should be able to understand. Everyone good? Now, if you want to, nobody wants me to wait. You just have to type your wait for a minute or something, and I'll wait for you. But if you don't respond, I'll take it that you have done it. A minute? Yes, Girish, of course I'll wait for a minute. You let me know when you are done. Anyone? See, those who keep talking to me, those who keep responding, I can help them. But if you just sit back without responding, I can't help you really. Shall I send you this? It's not too much of a code, but still. I'll send you the file also. But I'm yet to make some more changes. Done? Okay. So let's go ahead with the next one. Suppose I want to enter it now in a different manner. Okay. So here, I'm just making you ready. So anytime you have a business application and you want something different, see, HTML5 date and all we have already covered. This is year, month, and day. But if anyone asks you that I want a different format, I'll show you. So suppose I want the format in that day, month, and year. Okay. So in this case, will this parse method work or will it not work? Simple question, simple answer. Of course, it won't work. Which is the default format? Which is the default pattern it is expecting? Year, month, and day. So now you have to understand the additional API. So everything I like to discuss with Javadocs, you know that. So now you are looking at overloaded parse method. So open the Javadocs and you'll see there is one parse method we already learned. So the second parse method, overloaded one, is accepting the text, which is the string coming from user. And what is the next thing it is taking is in the datetime formatter. Everyone reached this API? Found it? Look at this method. Great. Now click on datetime formatter. So now, like how we had before Java 8, we had simple date format. So it is equivalent to simple date format. And the name of the class is datetime formatter. Formatter for printing and parsing the datetime objects. Okay, so that is it. And now look for the method. They have given you the method here. So here local date, no, they have given the format example. I'll show you. There are so many basic things. So I'm going to show you a method which is easy. Okay, anytime you want more details, they have given you the more details. Okay, so I'm showing you just the methods. Let me open. Of method is there. Of localized date, of pattern. Okay, search for the method in that datetime formatter class of pattern. The name of the method is of pattern. And here, this is the same pattern character which you have used in simple date format. I'll repeat the statement because I'm asking you a question. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. So this is that datetime formatters of pattern method. Here in goes the pattern, the same characters. You know the characters day, month, year and all that, DD, MM, YY. So now use this and can anyone give me the answer? Enter the join date. I want it in the day, month, year format. Accept it and show me the join date. Understood the question or the question is not clear? Is the question clear, guys? Give me, question is not clear. Oh, it is written Rohit here. Here, enter the join date of the employee. So user is going to enter it as what? I'll give you an example. Suppose your join date they have given you as 13. I don't want a 2-digit this. So let's say 6 and let's say 2022. Okay, that is your join date, for example. So it will fail if you use this. So make it work. Make the method work. I've given you the example. So I got some answer here. Let me see. LocalDate.parse, whatever, datetime formatter, DDMMYY. Yes, Srini, you are absolutely right. Or you can create a datetime formatter just once. Srini, better, what do you say? Better way, because you every time you want to parse, you don't want to create so many instances of datetime formatter. Okay, so create it once and use it. And you made a small mistake, Srini. I want this also to work. 13.6, I mean single digit also should work. So work on that. It's a small correction, small adjustment. But otherwise you are right. Anyway, I'm waiting for majority. At least I should see 10 of you saying done. And print it. Of course, enter it in this manner and print it, please. Accept it from user, sc.next. Srini, you did not, yeah, so D, no, I mean D, M and Y by this, but you still did not understand my suggestion. The first one. Here I told you, don't create datetime formatter.off pattern. In that method, you call it separately. So only one instance of datetime formatter, you understood it. Okay. Guys, others, I'm looking at other responses. Give me. You don't have to show me the code. You just try it out and check it. And if it is working, tell me you have done it. I'll wait for another couple of minutes. So I'll write it along with you. If you don't want, you can ignore what I'm saying. You can use everywhere import static. Here I'm keeping as 4-digit here. That is typically the norm. And here, the second one you take, where you can supply the formatter. And then you print the join date. Okay. And let's try it out. Day, month, and year. Have I given it correctly? D, M, and Y. Yes. So now, if I say, this was earlier one. So I had to give that 0, 1, something. And now I'm saying, let's say 1, 1, 1, 2, 2022, something. You can give anything. And you can see that it is working. Or if you, the earlier one is still requiring all that. So let's say and now if I say 15th of, let's say, something, gets it. I just tested all the cases. So try it out and check. Yes, you are right, Abhijit. Yogesh, you are also right. So try this out. In the meantime, I'll send you the code. In case anyone is confused, let me help you. I'm sending you the whole tester. Anything, whatever, wherever you are stuck, please use that. I mean, you can take help. Waiting here for a minute and then continuing. Done. Very good, Kudan. Waiting for you guys. Just respond with done or not done. Anyone wants me to wait, do let me know. Done it? Very good. Others also keep trying. And like I said, I'm not at all pushing you. You can try it in the lab. As long as you're understanding, it is all good for me. So you can see the, effective and powerful API. And none of it is showing you, throwing you any checked exception. So I hope you are all agreeing with me. It is a better API, definitely. Next one. So I've shown you parse. Okay, so now there are methods. Like how you remember our methods in date class, before, after, and equal, and of course. So I'm just asking you to look at more APIs and you will understand it immediately. So open your date time, the same local date class, please. Not this, sorry, local date. Okay, open the local date class and look at the methods. There are three methods. Okay, first observe things. It is comparable. The moment you say it is local date is comparable, which is the method you expect to see, which is the method it will give you for natural ordering, compare to. Okay, but if you are curious, and you should be always a good observer, it is not saying comparable of local type, local date. It is using chrono local date. So click on that. It is nothing but an interface, and that interface is implemented by local date. So you can see there are so many calendars it supports. Today we are just talking about simple local date. In short, tell me, are local dates comparable or not comparable? They are comparable. Okay. If you want to find out whether it is before or after, earlier the method names were before, after, and equals. So here it is. Look for the method, please. Is before. Chronolocal date is the interface name. Interface and implementation class is local date. So is before, is after, is equal. You can see it can also find out so much. It can find out is leap year, there is a minus, there's a plus, and all that. In short, so these are the methods. I'll give you a requirement. Okay. So now you just create a, you look at the code. And here, let's say employee, enter join date of, let's say first employee. Okay. And enter join date of second employee. Just keep the same. I'm just trying to check your understanding. Enter join date of second employee. And here, let's say display who has joined, who is more senior. Nothing but who has joined first. So I want the output as, see, it is all user driven. Okay, sorry. You create another variable, please. Local date. Just give me a minute. I'm giving you this code. Joined it. I'm just creating two different variables. Don't feel lost. It's a very easy question. So you are accepting the joined. We are going to apply it to our code. I'm just waiting for this basic API to get over. So joined it of first employee, joined it of second employee. It doesn't matter which format, which pattern. And I just want to say, I want to see the output as first employee senior or second employee senior. Give it to me. you can use compare to, you can use is before, is after, anything. Is the question clear or question is not clear? First, I have to ask you that. Is the question clear? Clear. Okay, start working on it. It's an easy one, easy usage of API. Give me. Any methods you can use. There are three options: is before, is after, compare to. Anything you can show me. Try to use ternary. Tell me when you are done so I can join you. Done? Very good, Sumit. Let's wait for others. Shubham also good. I'll just wait for a couple of more dones and then I'll write it. Like I said, any API you're free to use. Yes, very good. Okay, so some of you have done it, so I can use. SOP. So I'm using the simplest. You can use compare to, you can use anything. I can use this. So join date, if join date dot is before join date to, then in that case, the first one is the first employee. Senior employee. I'm just trying to do it in one line. Senior employee is, let's say, the first employee, or I can say it's the second employee. Okay. Have I done it correctly? Yes. So if it is the is before returning true, join date is this, then first employee senior and the second one is senior. So just, you can do it with ternary, without ternary, I don't really care. But the point is, try out the API. So this is year, month and day. So let's see, you got this 2010. This is 2-digit because this is a default date format. So let's say month is 12 and some day. So 25th of December. And the second one had joined earlier. So let's say day 12th, month, and the 2009, let's say. So you should see the senior employee is the second employee. You swap it and you can you can see the other result. Sending you this. Yes, I just expected the ternary, but doesn't matter. As long as you're using the API correctly, I'm more than happy. I sent you test one. Oh, sorry. I sent it to one of you. Don't DM me, please. Send me a public message. Don't send me the direct message, please. So, again, the whole idea is try the API. You can use compare to. Compare to will return you -1, 1 or 0. Yes, is after. So yes, join date 1 is after. Yeah, anything. Like absolutely correct, Yogesh. No problem. Got it, guys? Anyone wants me to wait? Okay. So now let's say, see, always I like to give you in a business logic manner where you can use. So here, don't write anything. First, understand my problem statement. So here, I'm accepting the enter. Suppose you are running a shop, a grocery shop. Let's say where they're selling breads or they're selling some consumable product, So enter the what do you say, manufacturer date of bread. Okay, so and let's you can use any format. So let's stick to the standard format, year, the default format, year, month, and day in the manner. This is up to you. I've shown you. And let's say a bread is expiring in 3 days. So I want to display the expiry date. Listen to the question correctly. Because I'm just giving you a problem statement. I'm helping you with the API and I want the code from you. It's a 2-liner code. So here, what are you accepting? Bread is just one of the products. You can have any products, any perishable product, okay? Fruits, food material, anything, snacks, anything. So here, you are accepting this. I want it in the default format, year, month, and day. Then, suppose let us say after 3 days, after manufacturing date, bread and that product is expiring. So I just want to print that expiry date of the product. So if you do it, is it possible to be done using earlier Java API? Yes. There is a Gregorian calendar class and then there are different ways, but too tough. So now I want to sell. Today I'm selling LocalDate API to you. So open LocalDate, please. I think we are in the same this. There are 2 methods here, plus and minus. So tell me, which one I should use currently, plus or minus? Easy question. I want to find out the expiry date. Of course, I should use the plus method naturally, right? So look for a method plus, and here you can see. So guys, there are so many ways. So here there's a plus method, amount to add. So suppose I say 3, and there is another enum called as temporal unit, and everyone knows the enums. And here the enum types are, there's an implementation of this. This interface must be implemented. There is something, yeah, the implementation classes. I said enums, wrong with this. Interface temporal unit, chrono unit, and that chrono unit has the enum. This is the enum, and you can say days. But I'm saying, why complicate your life when they have given you the simple answers? So look for a method plus days. There's a direct method here. So what it will do is it going to modify the current local date or is it going to create a new local date instance? I said when you say plus or later minus, is it going to modify the current one or is it going to return you the new one? How can you say, guys, modify? I said at the beginning, it is immutable. Which is the class you have seen which is immutable earlier? Tell me. Which is the class we have discussed, string. So if you say, suppose I say string is equal to hello, and if you say s dot concatenate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, will it modify the existing string object or will it create a new one? New one. Same thing, guys, here. So coming back to the point, it will create a copy of this local date with the specified number of days added. So this will create a new copy and give it to you. Okay, so try this. So is the question clear? I've given you the method name. You have plus months, plus days, plus years, whatever. And similarly, you have minus also. So I'm waiting for you to solve it. So you will take the manufacturing date and after that, display expiry date after 3 days. Is the question clear or not clear? Because if the question is not clear, how will you solve? Is the question clear? Okay, so now display expiry date after 3 days. Do it. It just takes you half a minute to do this. Do it, test it, and tell me whether you succeeded, whether it worked. Working? Very good, Mohan. You can do it in 1 line. If you want, you can do it in 2 lines. Your choice totally. I'll just wait for a minute and then solve it. This was just an example to, get you started. Done? Very good. Okay, great. So let me now do it. Local date dot parse. I told you, keep it as a simple format. So sc dot next, the default one. I'm not giving a date time format. If you want, you can of course give it dot plus days. And here I said after 3 days. That also can be taken from user. This is, I'm just preparing you for advanced Java, by the way, guys. All these APIs you will require in actual projects and actual templates and all that. So bread's expiry date is this. Okay, I'll say this. If you want, I can do it in a I think you can understand in 1 line. If you don't understand, tell me. I can always write it in a 2-line manner. So enter join date of first employee. This is fine. This was earlier stuff. So just finish it. First is senior one. Now I'll say, suppose this is 2022 month, let's say 01, and it is suppose produced on 9th of January, for example. And you can see that the expiry date is exactly after 3 days. I'll send you this again in case anyone needs help. I said you can do it in 2 lines. First, get the manufacturing date and then plus date, or you can do it in 1 line. Your choice. Can I continue? Anyone wants me to wait, or have you finished it? Anytime you want me to wait, tell me. Okay, yes, I will wait. See, when you start responding, I can take it. If you don't respond, so I'm waiting for a minute. You finish, you take your time, no pressure. Those who are saying done, very good. Output, yes, of course. Here, see this. This is the output bread's expiry date here. Depends on what date you have given. I had given today's date. You can say local date dot now also. I just made everything user supplied. Are we good? Okay, done. Very good. So this is your some idea about the basic API. Now in just a minute, I'll show you local time as well as local date time. Just an example. In advanced Java, you're going to require all this API. So that time you will see it is so useful. So let us create a new one, which just tells you the other classes, which are local time and local date time. So create a new class. I'm not going to waste too much time because we have to enter the maps now. So here, which was the class which holds only the date? Java 8 onwards is local date. Now I want to print the local time. So here I'm saying current time. I'm not interested in the date. I'm just interested in the current time, hours, minutes, seconds. Okay. So here the class is local. The name of the class itself is local time and the method name is the same now. There are so many additional methods. Whenever we require a particular method, I'll definitely explain. So this is your current time. Run this and you will see that current time looks like 9:29. And this is nothing but the number of milliseconds elapsed after the beginning date. It is giving you the complete details. Got it? So depending on the requirement, you can use it. This is your local time. And if you want a timestamp, which is date plus time, the name of the class is date time type. It is nothing but your column type as date time, and that is your local date time. Okay, you can run this and you can confirm. You can see that. So it has got a default formatter pattern. This is your day, a date, I mean year, month, and date. There is a T for separator escape sequence, and then it is your time, including the millisecond. I mean with the millisecond precision. Check it. The code and the output is both here. And again, you'll see they are comparable and you can do the comparison, you can arrange it, you can sort it. All those things we'll do with the practical assignments. Has everyone completed? Done? Okay. Thanks for answering. So this is what was the basic brief introduction to the modern API. And like I said, we will do lot many more things I want to show you, but not on the same day. First, you survive this much, and whenever we require more, we will definitely discuss. So this was one of the Java new feature. Now the remaining time, we are going to utilize it in the last part of the collection framework, which is your maps. So let us do the, okay, before I do the revision or recap or whatever, and we are going to, before I say anything, we are going to start with a fresh scenario. I'm not going to ask you that copy the earlier one and all. So so everything will end up doing separate, I mean from scratch. Don't worry about that. So before that, let me ask you a recap. I'd open that collection framework overview diagram and tell me there are two halves of your collection framework. One is collection and below, and one is map and below. Is everyone remembering what I'm saying? Is it clear? Okay. So what is the one hierarchy we were in for so many days was iterable, extended by collection. Collection interface was extended by what? Your list, set, and queue. List was implemented by ArrayList and vector. Linked list mainly implements list as well as queue extended by deck, and that is implemented by linked list. ArrayList and vectors are similar. Then you looked at set, and give me the 3 implementation classes of set. Yes, hash set, very right, Prashant. And linked hash set and a tree set. So if I ask you, this is a revision. If I say hash set, is it ordered, unordered, sorted, or unsorted? Give me in short forms. Unordered and unsorted. So which are the only 2 methods your JVM will call? It will call hash code and equals based on hashing algorithm. Very right. What about linked hash set? Ordered, unordered, sorted, unsorted. It is ordered, means remembers the order of insertion, but it is not sorted. Very right. And what about a tree set, guys? It is sorted, but unordered. Everyone knows that. Everyone has revised well, looks like. From your answers, your answers make me really happy. That tells me that you have gone through it. Okay. And then preset, when you say sorted set, preset is implementing sorted set. Can you sort the elements as per the natural ordering? It's a yes or no. Yes. Can you also do the sorting of the set using custom ordering? Yes. And how do you differentiate? Using the constructors. So if you use the tree set, default constructor or the collection based constructor, which one it will use? Natural ordering or custom ordering? Answer is natural ordering. In both the cases, in default constructor as well as collection based constructor, it uses the natural ordering. And if you use the third constructor, whatever that comparator based constructor, what will it use? Custom ordering or natural ordering? Custom ordering. So this is what you know by now. Now we are entering the maps. I mean, we are entering the second half of collection framework, which is map interface and below. Okay. So here, let me send you some diagrams so that you can open them, and I mean you can open them. So they will be with you later. I will combine it as day16 data. So right now just download that. V16 help. So diagrams, map API. Okay, so map API. Oh, guys, please don't send me a DM. Otherwise, I end up sending a message to it. Don't direct message me. Don't send me private messages here onwards. I'm not going to look at it also. So let me show you. Let me send you map API. And I'm showing you. I'm also sending you all a picture. I mean diagram, which is maps overview. Yeah, so open the maps overview first, and then we'll look at map API. I sent you two documents. One is map API.txt and one is maps overview PNG file. Got it? Okay, thanks. So now open the picture. So first question. Everyone is opening, I hope, maps overview. Okay, so first question is, does map it is an interface. Is it extending from collection or not extending from collection? Answer is no, it does not extend from collection. So we are entering a separate second half, extremely important half. So start looking at it. That's why I sent you the picture. Map is an interface. The moment you say K comma V, generic or non-generic, G or NG, it is a generic interface. But earlier you are looking at list of elements. There was only one generic type. So here it is key type as well as value type. Guys, you know JSON. You know this. So JSON is what? Nothing but a key and a value pair. Same. So K is for key type and V is for value type. So when you say map in the middle of night kind of a thing, it consists of what? Key and value pair. Is it going to store the objects or the references? Answer is nothing but the reference. Okay. And this key and a value pair is called as entry. So key and a value pair is regarded as entry. This you ignore currently. It's a data type I have given you. And it is also called as a mapping. So what does a map consist of? Map consists of key and value pairs is equal to entries is equal to mappings. Now the next slide. Can you add duplicate keys in the map? Absolutely not. Keys are unique, distinct. But can it contain multi-duplicate values? 100% yes. Map doesn't even look at the values. It just adds the values. Okay. So here, when you say map, there are again 3 implementation classes. I told you, if you have revised set, understanding maps becomes so easy. So which were the implementation classes of set? HashSet, LinkedHashSet, and the tree set. Here we have got HashMap, simply replace set by map. HashMap, extended by LinkedHashMap, and then you have got a TreeMap. Okay, so which is the most important data structure, which is the fastest one, which will offer you constant time performance? Of course, answer is HashMap. And will it follow any different algorithm than you have learned earlier? Of course not. It uses the same hashing algorithm. Only difference is when we talk about hash set, if it is a hash set of employees, we had references E1, E2, E3, E4. Okay, so it was calling E1.hashcode and further if required E1.equals E2. So here those hashcode methods and equals method will be called on what? Key type or a value type? Answer is key. The values are not even considered. So the whole hashing algorithm is 100% same. But instead of calling the hash code and equals on the value type, it is going to call it on the key type. In short, whenever we create a map, which class has to follow the contract between equals and hash code? Your choices are key type, value type, both of above, none of above. Which class has to implement? Of course, it is the key type class. All the statements clear? That's why, I take the sets first, and then we come to the maps. And there will be only one-to-one relationship between one key can correspond to only one value, because there are no duplicate values at all. Okay, so now come down to the implementation classes. Map is the name of the interface. Implementation classes are in front of you. So which ones? HashMap. Like how we discussed, we revised HashSet. It represents unsorted and unordered map implementation class. It is based upon the same hashing algorithm. So JVM will call keys hash code. Then it will pass through that internal hash function, derives the bucket ID. If the bucket is empty, the entry, what is entry? Key or value? Answer is both. So that entire entry key value pair is inserted in form of a node. And then, of course, and then the method returns. Only the method names are different. Earlier, what was the method to add the element to the set was add. Here you have a method name as put, but the explanation is the same. So is it going to guarantee the constant time performance, O1 factor time complexity? Yes. So guys, hear my statement correctly. Before I take you to advanced Java, we are going to spend a lot of time on HashMap, and you will see when I take you to advanced Java, 99% of data structures in advanced Java, let it be HTTP request, let it be HTTP response, let it be HTTP session, let it be flash attributes, whatever, they are all arranged in the map. So in short, two data structures which are extremely important from the point of advanced Java. One is array list and the second one is HashMap. So going ahead, which are the methods? Okay, let me say this. Which methods will guarantee, which methods will run in constant time performance? There is a method put. So answer logically. When I am going to show you the map API in a minute, that is why I have shared that text file. So when you say put, how many arguments you think it will take? Single argument or two arguments? Obvious question. Single argument, guys. Come on. That means nothing has reached you. It is whenever you are saying put, you are adding an entry. But entry consists of what? Key or a value? Answer is both. So you'll see in a minute, put takes two arguments, key type and a value type. Then there's a variation put if absent and all. And then there are methods get, in goes the key, out comes the value and additional things. We'll look at all of them in a couple of minutes. And then another thing to remember is this hash map synchronized as in thread safe? Answer is no, it is thread unsafe. So when I take you to threads after 3 days or whatever time in this week, you will see that you'll have to apply the locks. You'll have to synchronize the hash map if you want to share the same hash map between multiple threads. All of that in the multi-threading topic. So hash map is a unsorted, unordered, fastest implementation of map. Now this is just an overview. So treat it as an overview. So now you have a subclass of a map. Subclass of a hash map extended by LinkedHashMap. Is it sorted? No. So it is not sorted as per any criteria, but is it going to remember the order of insertion? In short, is it ordered? 100% yes. So it is an ordered but unsorted map. That's your LinkedHashMap. So suppose you keep on adding the entries K1 V1, K2 V2, K3 V3, K4 V4, and if you display the entries, do you expect to see the same order or a different order? Answer is same order of insertion. So in REST APIs and all, sometimes you might require LinkedHashMap. REST APIs is, we'll discuss it in the advanced Java. Now, this map interface is extended by a sub interface called a sorted map. There is a navigable map in between, and the implementation class, which is important again, is TreeMap. So like how you had tree set, here you have a tree map. So TreeMap is what? Sorted but unordered. And if you remember tree set, you can recognize this immediately. So TreeMap has very similar constructors: default constructor, map-based constructor, and a comparator-based constructor. So let me ask you, I've already given the answers. If you use any of these first two, is it going to use natural ordering or custom ordering? NO or CO? Everyone should know that. I've written the answer. The moment you are not passing the comparator, of course, the default comparison scheme is what? Natural ordering. But will it be calling the compare to method on the key type or a value type? Guys, we are sitting in the maps. Values are not even considered. So it will be calling key classes compare to. Okay. So this is the natural ordering based upon key based compare to method or key based criteria. And if you use the third constructor, we'll do the examples and then it will be clearer. So this, if you use the comparator based constructor, just a quick question. I hope you remember this. When you say question mark super K, anyone wants to tell me what I can substitute? Suppose my key type is integer. So let me see what is the answer you are giving. Key or its super type, lower bound, absolutely. So if I say my key type is integer, what it can be? Integer or number or object. So any of its super type. Typically, we give the type as the same type, but it is allowed. And then you'll see that it is going to create your empty map. And when you start using the methods such as put all or put if absent, then which classes, which method it will call? You have supplied a comparator, maybe anonymous inner class or separate class, we don't make, it doesn't matter. So upon population, when you start adding the elements, it will call this comparators compare method. So the point I'm trying to make is, whether you have a list, whether you have a set, or whether you have a map, the sorting is all based upon either comparable, natural ordering, or comparator, which is custom ordering. So this was the map overview. But are there any limitations of the map? 100% yes. And I'm discussing the limitation as well as the solution. So tell me, already there are answers. Is map iterable? It's a Boolean question. Yes or no? Answer is no, because map doesn't extend from that collection hierarchy. So in short, if you want to traverse over the map entries, will you be able to attach a for each directly to the map? Answer is no. Will you be able to attach a for loop? No, it's not an index-based collection at all. It's a hashing-based collection, right? So neither the iterator nor this. Of course, there are solutions, but understand the limitations first. Next limitation is, anytime you are searching or sorting, removing or whatever, you see, searching, sorting, or removing, if you want to do it as per the key, you have ready-made methods. But anytime you want to search or sort or remove as per the value-based criteria. See guys, without example, you won't understand. Your map simply doesn't have the support. So in these cases of limitations, is there any solution or are we doomed? Of course, we are not doomed. It's a collection framework, so powerful. So in that case, before I introduce your lambda expression and all that, what was the way out? The way out is, you can convert a map again into a collection. It is called as collection view of a map. And then you can enjoy, then these limitations will be gone. So this is too much of theoretical discussion. Unless until you actually sit down and use it, you won't understand it. So this was just to give you a map overview. And like I said, today major time I'm going to spend in explaining the HashMap API. Okay, so now please open Java Docs and search here for a class HashMap. You will see, you don't have to learn anything extra. I mean, of course, APIs and all methods you'll have to understand, but the internal structure is nothing but a hash table. So I hope you got this HashMap, and click on constructor. And I'm sure, and I'll give you a minute. Why don't you go through all these 4 constructors? I'll start asking you questions after a minute. So there are exactly 4 constructors, same were present in the hash set. Okay, let's start with the first one. If you use the default constructor, which we typically use in the classroom kind of an environment, tell me, what will be the size, what will be the capacity, and what will be the load factor? If I use a default constructor, give me 3 answers. Size, capacity, and load factor. Very right, guys. Very good going. So you see this empty, oh, sorry. It is giving you what? Empty hash map. So of course, size. Size means number of entries. Number of key value pairs are 0. So size is 0. Default initial capacity, what it creates is nothing but array of references, 16 empty buckets, and the load factor is 0.75. How about the next one? If you use the second constructor, size, capacity, and load factor, 0, specified capacity, and 0.75, very right. How about the third one? What is it you can supply? You can supply any initial capacity and you can supply the load factor also. But if you see the statistical observation, 75% is a good choice. If you make it like 100%, then JVM will have to wait till the entire hash table, till the entire all the entries are full, and that is not such a performant operation. So typically we don't use this. If in the industry environment, if you want to start with a larger number of buckets, the for classroom example, first one, for the a larger capacity, you can go for the second constructor. Now answer the last one. So here, this is that constructor. So I'll just copy this constructor. This will give you the revision of things also. So I have a question. So I'll say the HashMap. I have a question for you. HashMap constructor. This is the constructor. So here, can you populate HashMap of, let's say something. I'm just checking. Can you populate HashMap of the type, let's say string? I don't have a string anything. Anyway, let's say I'm just thinking about it. My key, my value. I'm just talking about some types, key types and this. Can you populate HashMap from? Okay, so now before I start asking you a question, let me explain. What is my key? Some class, which is my key class, and my value is a type of the value type. Okay, so can you populate this HashMap from? Your first question starts, any list implementation classes. Okay, I'll ask you, array list, linked list, vector. It's a yes or no answer. Can you populate this HashMap from array list, linked list, vector? It's a yes or no. Of course, the answer is no. Why? Because list is not a map and you can pass only the map. So answer is big no. Can you populate it from some set such as hash set, linked hash set, or a tree set? It's a yes or no answer. Can you pass a set here? Of course not. I hope everyone is understanding. I'm talking about this constructor. Answer is no. Can you map it? Can you populate it from HM as in hash map, linked hash map, tree map? It's a Boolean question again. It's a yes or no. 100% yes. Okay. So everyone understands. You can populate a hash map only from another map. You can't populate it from set or list. And so you are right. And so the next question is, what should be? What are legal? Legal means allowed, compiler wise. What are legal key and value types? You know all the answers, guys. So tell me. Here, I want to populate it from the type my key and a my value. So anyone wants to answer, what should it be? I'm talking about generic types. Yes, absolutely correct. Abhijit, not only the subtype, it can be my key or its subtype. It's a question mark extends K. So K or its subtype, upper bound or its subtype, and because it's a value also, my value or its subtype. So let me give you a practical example. Is everyone clear so far? Key and subtype and value and subtype. Absolutely correct, guys. Very good. So suppose if I say my key is integer, or let's say string, forget integer, string, and here it is a customer. So everyone knows string class does not have any subclasses. It's a final class. So what all I can populate it by? String comma. Suppose I have got a what is it? Silver customer means a customer who had chosen a, okay, let's say a privileged customer and a regular customer. I'll repeat this slowly. Regular customer extends from customer. Privileged customer extends from a customer. So will I be able to populate this hash map from a regular customer? It's a yes or no. Yes. From a privileged customer? Yes again. Because I'm allowed to go to the subtype also. So this is going to give you populated hash map, and this is the explanation. Are the statements clear? Is the explanation clear completely? Because this was a revision of your generic syntax, nothing else. So now let us get into actual objective. So looking at time, of course, we'll discuss it and we will start implementation after your first break. So you're going to get it around 10:05. I mean, I'll stretch it till 10:05 because I joined late, and you will have it accordingly. So what is it we are going to solve is, we are going to solve a simple, it's not a real in the sense, it's not an involved one, simple banking application using your hash map. So when you talk about core classes, you have a bank, I mean, when you say banking, you have a bank account class. So I've given you some things, attributes, data members, non-static, okay, transient word you don't know, non-static data members, which has an account number, account type as an enum. So we can add saving, current, FD, loan, etc. Account has a balance. Account has a creation date. So are we going to use the modern Java 8 API, modern API or an old API? Modern API hereafter. Okay. And the name of the customer. So can you visualize the bank account class with the data members, everyone? Okay. So naturally we will add a parameterized constructor. We'll generate all of this and we'll add the toString. So I have a question before that. In addition to the constructor and the toString, which methods I'll have to override? Which methods additionally? In addition to constructor and toString, which additional methods I will require? So I got the answer as hash code and equals. I'm not commenting. I just heard your answer. I'm not saying correct or wrong. Okay, so let's keep it. So I got the answer as additionally. You are saying hash code and equals as per the contract. So right or wrong, I have not yet explained. I have not yet said. Okay, so just let it pass. Answer is wrong. You don't have to, but I don't have to tell this. You will understand it. And then we are going to add the business logic methods. See, what we are going to do is, before I explain these methods, this is what are the objectives we are going to do. We are going to create some sample data map. And what are the features? Any banking application should give you create account, account summary, display all the account details, a particular account summary, funds transfer, closing, etc. So we will write a long example. So after the break, please come back with your STS ID open so you can code along with me. So coming back to the point, we will be adding some business logic methods. So of course, you cannot withdraw beyond the limit. Everyone knows there is a minimum balance condition. So tell me, if your withdraw operation or funds transfer operation takes the balance lesser than the minimum balance, will JVM detect it as an error And will it throw some built-in exception, or will you have to throw the custom exception? Built-in or custom? Of course, custom. You got me? So we will be throwing that custom exception. So everything will be done properly. So all this will be done. Now, before we take a break, we want to store these account details in a suitable data structure to ensure the constant time performance for CRUD operations and searching operations. So naturally, obvious question, which is the data structure we are going to use? I already given you the answer. Of course, we are going to use the HashMap. I will say, okay, you can use a HashSet also, but wait for some more time and you will see HashSet has got a very limited API. HashMap and HashSet both use the same hashing algorithm. So constant time performance is given, but you will see such excellent API. I've shared that map API text. It has got so many powerful methods. So of course, we are going to settle on HashMap. The moment I say HashMap, is it a generic class or is it a non-generic class? G or NG? Of course, it is a generic class. So anyone wants to tell me what should be the key type of the HashMap where I want to store the account details, and what should be the value type? In short, tell me. Fill in the blanks. Yes. So, yeah, account number key, I understood that. Can you tell me what data type? I want something, comma, something. Yes. But people are saying int. Guys, can generic type be a primitive type? Of course not. So, give me the proper answer. Give me two outputs, two answers. So, what should be the key type? Ask yourself, what will be unique for the bank account? Account number. What will be the account number? I have not said this. You said you'll say that you never give us. So, okay, naturally, account number. Suppose I go for int. I can go for string also. So, suppose int, here it will be integer. You know, a wrapper class. And anyone wants to tell me, if I supply the account number, what should be stored as a value? What should be the value type? Customer object. Which customer, Avinash, you're talking about? There's no customer. Double. Guys, double is such a wrong answer. If I supply the account number, what is it I would like to get? The complete account details. So where is the class which has stored these account details? Nothing but your bank account. So this is where this will be your key and a value type. So what will be the key type for our demo? Integer. And what will be the value type against his bank account? Somebody was telling me double and float. So guys, do you want to, if user says, give me the account summary, do you want to give only the balance or the whole details? I would like to have the whole details. That is why the key type and a value type. Understood me? Understood? I mean, are you agreeing with the key type and a value type? Everyone? Okay. So now tell me, does your bank account class, does it have to really override these methods, required or not required? This is your asset test. This is what is that I was saying, 100% not required. Which class has to implement, rather override these methods as per the contract? Key type or a value type? Key type. Which is the key type? Integer. Open the integer class. Look for your integer and tell me, has integer class already followed the contract? Means, has it overridden the hash code and equals as per the contract? Don't just say because I said that. See guys, you can't trust anyone blindly. That is what will kill you. So please open a hash code. Okay, first open the equals method. And you will see that, see, it is returning you true if and only if it has the same int value. So it has overridden the equals method from object class to replace reference equality by content equality. So this is based on the int value. Okay, all cool. And now search for hash code. hash code method. So tell me, it is returns the hash code value for integer, nothing but the int value represented by this integer object. So let me ask you, has integer class followed the contract or not followed the contract? Yes or no? It has followed the contract. Which branches? Mandatory, optional, both or neither? Answer is both. You are very right. So always think in code. Suppose you have got two integers, I1 and I2, integer references. I1 is holding a value 100, I2 is holding a value 100. So if I1 dot equals I2 returns true, what is the hash code? It is going to return the same value. So equal objects, equal integers are producing equal objects are producing the same number, same hash code. I lost my equals. Wait a second. And tell me now, so many methods. If one int value, one was holding 10, one was holding 15. So what will equals method will return? If one is 10 and one is 15, true or false? False. What will be the hash code values it will return? Different values, 10 and 15. So equal objects are producing equal hash code, cool. And unequal objects are also producing unequal hash code. Are you getting me? So again, I'm stopping here. Let me, with a last question. Will your bank account class, does it have to implement anything at all? Answer is absolutely not. Because your HashMap is going to call hash code and equals on the key type or on the value type, K or V, key type. And key type being the built-in integer type, integer class has already done it. So absolutely not required. Are you understanding it? Is the statement clear? This was a trick question. People ask you in interviews all the time trick questions. Okay. So this is the basic understanding. And then once we come back from the break, we will actually start implementing it in a normal manner. Core classes, custom exceptions. You can add some validation rules if required. So validation rules today I'll not add. First, you focus on collection framework as in map, and then we will solve so many requirements. Okay. So what I'll do is, before dispersing, I'll send you this sequence.txt. So you'll have some idea about what we are going to do for the rest of the time, and we'll take a 1 hour break. Just a second. So I'm sending you the today's sequence. I can alter that because, I don't know whether everything will fit in today. Whatever I don't cover today will be covered tomorrow. So have you got sequence.txt? Okay, so that will give you some idea about what is going to happen in the throughout today, whatever I can manage. So let's have a 1 hour break and resume exactly at 11:05. Everyone is clear? Please join back in time so that you don't miss a single word of whatever discussion. So see you around at 11:05.